So you finally arrived in Canada as an international student. And now you've gone to wherever you are in Canada, whether Toronto, Vancouver, Ottawa, Alberta, somewhere in Edmonton. You know, it's really exciting, new, visit different places, move to campus, try and organize yourselves. Maybe you came with your parents, maybe you didn't, but it's okay. You're still wanting your independence and freedom. And you go for orientation the next day. So orientation is where you view different students of different races and different backgrounds, and you're excited to meet so many new people and experience so many different things on campus. And then you listen to all the wonderful things that every institution or every organization has to say at your orientation. It's very exciting, very new. And one of the things you really think about doing, and obviously very smart to do, is open a bank account. So you visit one of the numerous booths around campus, hoping to meet a bank rep. Usually there's 2 or 3 or 4 banks willing and really eager to sign up students to get their accounts and to get more deposit into their accounts. So you go to a bank rep and you try and open generally a checking and savings account. And once you do that, you're pretty much happy. You can deposit the money that your parents, uncles, aunties gave you for what? 1 week, 1 day, a month, 6 months, 8 months. You know, just to really start living and start spending. And so the bank rep not only sells you on a savings and checkings account, but usually they tell you, hey, it's probably best you start building your credit in Canada. You know, the credit enables you to buy a house or a car later in the future. But they don't really explain much about how the credit system works, or really what are the consequences of, you know, having a bad credit, or what are the good things about having a good credit. It's not really explained to you, but they let you know, hey, you need to start building credit. And really the only way as an international student that you can build credit is through a credit card. And so because you have no credit history, usually they won't take a risk on you. They would give you a small amount that they can really part with. Usually it's $500. And so you'd sign up for a credit card usually, and most times it's $500. And they give you a cardholder agreement or a policy or a brochure that you should read. And usually that contains the terms and agreements, the interest fees, and also the bank fees that come with owning that credit card. But really, who reads that? Nobody. It's just like, you know, when you get an agreement from Facebook or your Apple agreement. Nobody reads that stuff. It's all in small print, and really, who has time? You're excited to get your money. Why do you need to read an agreement, right? And usually the bank rep wouldn't also let you know what's in the agreement. They wouldn't explain it to you. They just want to sign you up. You're a number in their system, and they want to sign you up and get the next person to also sign up for a credit card. That's the way it goes. So you just get excited and you wait for your card in the mail. And so your card comes in the mail. You see that credit card, that wonderful card that has your name on it. It's yours and it's your name, and you're so excited to use it. You know, it's $500 in your name. Like, what could go wrong, right? So you spend the card everywhere. You go online, you buy things from the States, you convert it in USD and pay the conversion fee. You know, you spend money here and there, and really it's $500. How far can $500 go, right? You finish it in a day or two, usually, or maybe a week, depending on how self-controlled you are, right? And so when you finish that, you forget about the card. Like, really, what is $500? You have more than that in your checkings account, right? Or your savings. You know, and you forget about it, or you don't. You know, you might go online and view your bill online after maybe a month or 2 months, 3, maybe 6 months or a year, or you might get a bill in the mail as well, depending on what you sign up for. And you check it and you see, oh my God, how the hell am I owing way more than $500? It does not make sense. I don't get it. How can I owe this much money? It makes no sense, right? But really, what you want to see here is that let's go back a little bit actually. What is the process of giving out credit, and really, how do banks make money off your credit cards? So let's look here. So you are a customer to a bank and you're a saver. So what you do is you deposit that money that's given to you by your parents or whoever guardian gives you your international fees money for accommodation and expenses. And so you deposit that money into the bank, either in a savings or a checking account. And so what the bank does is that money plus other monies that have been deposited by millions of people into banks, they use that money and give it out through the process of loans. And so a loan can be a house, a mortgage. It can be for a car, so an auto loan. And it can also be for cash, which is usually in the form of a credit card. Now, when you have a higher credit, usually you can get more cash on a credit card. If you have a lower credit, you might get less. If you have no credit history, banks don't want to take a chance on you. So they would give you usually a small amount to play with, something that they can part with. And usually they would give you a high interest rate, which is usually put in the cardholder agreement that most people never read, right? And so once you spend that money, you now owe them that money. And within a few days, if you do not pay back, usually between 23 days, you start to accumulate interest charges on the account. And so if you let that money sit in there and don't pay back that balance, you will accrue a lot of interest. And so that's how banks profit off you, that interest payment that you owe. And there are other payments as well that we will talk about. There might be annual fees to the account, and there might be other types of payments that you make on the account that might accrue fees, but generally it's those interest payments. And usually those interest payments, when they go back to the bank, they give a little. When I mean a little, it's usually less than 1% of that profit they've made from your interest payments, and they give back that money back to the client in their savings account. So when you have a savings account and you see that you got maybe 1 cent of interest, that's usually the interest accrued from a loan. But obviously the bank has a lot more of that profit. So that's really how the bank makes so much profit from your credit card. And what they don't tell you is that they don't tell you about that 20% interest rate on that $500 loan. So as you can see from this chart here, that if you owe $500 here and you pay $10, which is usually the minimum payment that you can make on your credit card, in 109 months, you will accrue over $1,000 that you need to pay. That is a significant amount of money. In fact, that is more than double the amount that you took from them. Isn't that ridiculous? To me, that's ridiculous. But that's not the only thing you pay interest for. You also pay interest, 23% interest when you take out cash from your credit card or you make any cash-like transactions. Plus, there's also additional fees added onto that, which can range from $2 to $10 as well. Plus, banks don't tell you about the conversion fees you pay whenever you buy a good or a service in another currency. So they charge you additional fees for paying in another currency as well. And the worst of all is that you're not going to get any leeway from banks. Banks do not offer any credit forgiveness or any deferrals on interest. In fact, if you don't pay, they will tack on a penalty to your account. So you will pay more interest on top of what you owe as well. But if you have money in your debit card, why would you allow a bank to profit from that credit card? It makes no sense, right? But there's a reason. Because credit cards actually have their worth in society. And if you use a credit card securely and wisely, you could definitely profit from having a credit card. Now, if you want to find out more about interest payments and how to really use these credit cards wisely, I would suggest that you sign up directly to my waitlist for my financial literacy sessions for international students. Also, I would advise you to subscribe to my channel and also like this particular video. We will have lots more of these videos coming soon for your own interests as well. Thank you.